Do you want to make sure your revenue achievement is sustainable over time? Or are you mistakenly overlooking this critical KPI, key performance indicator? And do you know its impact on profitability? Have you been measuring customer lifetime value? If not, you are missing out huge. I would urge you to watch all the way to the end of this video. Why? Because I have a bonus reveal that's going to eliminate any revenue blues that you may have. Let's jump right in. You may have a question. Why me? Well, I spent 26 years in the hotel industry. I have experienced firsthand numerous budgeting exercises, including ones on customer lifetime value, and I would like to share some of the lessons learned that could benefit you. In particular, steps you can take to avoid mistakes that I saw happening over all those years. Let's take an example. Assume your current occupancy rate is 66% and your budget variance is negative. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that your occupancy rate is behind budget, not something that you want to be in, right? So, how do you go from, say, 66% occupancy rate to 81% occupancy rate? And you will have a question. Why 81%? Why not some other percent? Why not some other percentage? Well, at 81%, you will be ahead of your competition. Of course, this will depend upon your competition itself as well as the market you operate in. But you want to be ahead of the competition, right? And now you have a doubt. Is it possible? Of course, it is. If you have a specific strategy and a laser focused action. And that's what we are going to be doing right now. Why is 66% occupancy rate so alarming? Well, let me clear the air a bit. First, achieving any occupancy rate is not the end game. It's not what ultimately is the purpose. So, what is? Well, if occupancy rate is not the end game, the real end game is sustaining revenue. And sustaining revenue over a longer period is your real challenge. And what else? Well, sustaining revenue as an end game will ensure that it impacts profitability. And consistent revenue impacts profitability in a positive way, apart from the fact that it's the owner favorite. So, your current 66% occupancy rate is not going to yield great profitability. Your owners are not going to be very thrilled, and you don't want to be in that situation, right? So, how do you unlock the secrets to not just sustain revenue but higher profitability? Let's find out how. Unlocking revenue budget secrets. And on to secret one. Switch revenue budget focus. What do I mean by that? Stop just looking at one time customers and begin looking at lifetime customers. Watch this clip on the customer lifetime value. I promise you, it will be a game changer. Let's take this total room revenue here. For the month of February, which is a lean month, it's showing $668,500. And right below that, see this KPI, number of guests resident. For the month of February, it shows 2,782. If you actually divide $668,500 by 2,782 guests, you would have the dollar room revenue per guest. However, we are interested in knowing not just per guest, but what is the customer lifetime value during a stay. In order to do that, we have to take the help of this KPI, average length of stay. Average length of stay tells you how long each guest stayed on an average. And in the month of February, as you can see, it's 1.5. So taking this calculation further, the 668,500 revenue is divided by 2,782 residents and further divided by 1.5 average length of stay. What does that give you? It actually gives you average spend, but per stay. And here that works out to $160. So we have gotten to a stage in our calculation where we know what is on an average the dollar amount that is spent by a customer at a hotel, taking February as the example. So in this case, they are spending $160 during a stay. Of course, you can analyze further by determining whether $160 features at the top end of the room rates that you are charging, or is at the lower end, or it's somewhere in the middle. These are analysis that can be carried out separately. However, let's deal with this $160. Let's also assume that on an average, a guest will stay twice a year. That is 2 times a year. So the idea here is during a year, a guest stay happens 2 times. Further, the average health span of a guest is 40 years. So you can expect that for the next 40 years, this $160 and at a frequency of 2 times a year can continue. So now let's arrive at a customer lifetime value, and that is $160 multiplied by 2 and multiplied by 40. That is 12,800. So $12,800 is the lifetime value of a customer. This is only as far as the calculation goes. So you now know that every customer, based on the results of February, is spending or is likely to spend $12,800 over the next 40 years. That's $12,800. You could also take it as the loyalty factor going forward in order to sustain the revenue of your hotel business. You saw in the clip how lifetime customers are revenue boosters. As a summary, you could say they allow revenue to grow faster and over a longer period. That's sustainable revenue. So you could say one time customers produce only limited revenue, while lifetime customers produce consistent revenue. And now to secret two: make lifetime customers your revenue budget goal itself and start budgeting for lifetime value of customers. Customer lifetime value can be calculated with the formula total number of life years multiplied by the average spend of the customer per stay. Average spend per stay can be got from the property management system of your hotel. And now on to secret 3: track your customer lifetime value along with the number of guests. What do I mean by that? Well, you're monitoring total number of guests with total revenue generated. Is customer lifetime value increasing with increase in total number of guests? If not, you have a mission to find out why. So let's summarize. Your revenue budget is built with switching revenue budget focus. This is followed by making customer lifetime value your goal. And thirdly, you monitor and track the total number of guests with the total revenue generated towards the customer lifetime value. And now for the bonus reveal you've been waiting for. Thank you for watching the video to the end. And now the bonus truth, what I call a game changer. Look at market segments in your revenue. Which segments have higher customer lifetime value? They are segments you must market to most. And harness the unlock revenue budget secrets because they will deliver higher revenue consistently through higher customer lifetime value. If you want to know how to earn higher room revenue consistently, click on the video on room revenue above.